Now, good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you are, and a very warm welcome to the European Research and Innovation Days 2022. My name is Susanne Ransovasu. I am Regional Coordinator of the Euraccess Worldwide Project here in ASEAN, together with my wonderful colleague, Dr. Jenny Elmacco. She's here as well. Hi, Jenny. Exactly. And we are part of a worldwide network of offices that are committed to creating bridges between the research communities in Europe and those across the globe. Jenny and I are here in Southeast Asia. Jenny is in Vietnam / the Philippines. I am based in Singapore, and we are your contact points related to anything that concerns science, technology, and innovation. If you're looking to advance your research career in Europe, or if you're looking for research collaborators in Europe, we are your contact points. Now, this is the 7th year in a row that we are hosting the EU R&I Days in ASEAN. We're very proud of it. You're reaching us on the last day of this 2-week event, and each year we're really looking at a topic that is of interest to the research communities in Europe and in ASEAN. And of course, this year we're focusing on the twin transition, green and digital. As we all know, these are challenges that are not only relevant to Europe or to Asia, but in fact, humanity as a whole needs to find solutions to tackle climate change, etc. So we're hoping to be your facilitators. We're hoping to offer you opportunities to find new partners. And this is where we're coming to our session just now. We're actually zooming in on a Northern European country, Austria. So if you're looking for kangaroos, this is the wrong country. And we're finding out how Austrian startups tackle the green and digital transition. And to introduce you to our moderator is my colleague, Jenny. Jenny, please.
Thank you so much, Susan. So good afternoon to everyone, and good morning to the others who are in the other side of the world. Thank you so much for joining us. I can see some of you still trickling in. Don't worry, we will be starting in a few minutes, so you still have time to get comfortable. I'm very pleased to introduce to you the moderator. She used to be my colleague. We used to be in the same office together, and we always had a nice time because she always has this incredible smile on her face, very welcoming, and she loves her team, and that's what I love about her. She loves her team so much, and so infectious, this dynamism of our moderators. So without further ado, to guide us in this discussion on Austrian startups that are active in the green transition, she is the commercial counselor of the Austrian Embassy of the commercial section and head of Advantage Austria in Manila. My very good friend, Christina Stieber, thank you so much for joining us, and the room is yours.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you, Jen. I do love you. I said it out there to the world, so I couldn't hold back. So thank you so much, Jen. Especially thank you for giving us this opportunity. And as I've heard, it's been a while since Austria was part of your initiative, and so I'm very happy to be back, and I'm particularly excited to bring along 2 Austrian companies that are really top of the list, top notch and trailblazers in their respective field. And the field that we're going to tackle today and that we're going to talk about is energy in its various forms. So from new sources of energy to energy storage, and how we can use energy storage, new ways of storing energy to really make a green transition, which becomes more and more relevant and more important to all of us. I will briefly, I will give you an introduction to our speakers once it's their turn, but since I got here to be able to talk to you for a second, I have your attention. I might just, get you also some information about who we are and what we're doing. So I'm sorry, I had to take the opportunity. I hope you will follow me on that one. I will just, let's see how I can change that. Oh, here we go. It should be working. Oh, it's not. Well, I hope you can see my screen so far. Yeah, people are nodding, so I guess you can. I'll just move over to that slide here. who am I and what am I doing here and why are we part of this, and especially why are we bringing here we go. So that was the wrong thing. Now it should be perfect. Yeah, I'm sorry I had to do that. There was one thing that was still bothering me and I still had to do that. So now it's okay. Now I can concentrate on that. So I'm very happy to be here, and I'm very happy to have two Austrian companies here with me. I myself, I'm here in the Philippines. As Jen already said, I'm working at the Austrian Embassy Manila, but I'm also heading Advantage Austria. And when I'm not in the office, I love to go out on site visits like this one. It was actually a renewable energy site visit. So, and I love doing that. So whenever there's a hard hat somewhere, you have to count me in because I'm going to be there. But what we are doing right now, or what is important to us in Austria or in my organization, is the topic of green tech, and especially with COP27 that is happening right now. Green tech has become, and again for another time, a huge issue, and people are talking about it, and rightly so should talk about it. And the way we understand green tech in Austria is where it's an area where technology, research, development comes together to create new and also economically viable solutions, solutions that are highly innovative, but are research intensive as well. But they are characterized by the possibility of enormous economic growth and enormous potential, as well as having the pleasant side effect of trying to save the climate as much as we can, or mitigate at least the effects of climate change. And probably you already know that the global volume of the green tech industry was estimated to be like staggering 4.6 trillion euros last year or 2 years ago, and that's going to double by 2030. And so green tech is, apart from the fact that it's good to know more about it, to invest in it, to learn about it, because that's the way, this is one of the tools we have to tackle climate change. It's also something where there's going to be a lot of money in the future. There was a consulting agency that did a research on what are going to be the lead markets when it comes to green tech. And I mean, the glorious, that is my insertion. So they did not call it the glorious lead markets. They just called it the 7 lead markets. But I thought they are going to be important, and they're going to be one of the tools in the next decades for a green and digital transition. And we will concentrate with our panelists from Austria we will concentrate on the first topic, the environmentally friendly energies and energy storage. So that is something we will focus on today. And we will give you more inputs. We are looking forward to a lot of questions from you, Sai, because we do have technology leaders here for you. And so please do not hold back with your questions. I think, as Jen and also Suzanne said, it's supposed to be interactive. It's supposed to be something where you ask your questions and where you learn. And so please, we do have a lot of time available. We do, for the two of them to talk and for you to ask questions. So that's why I'm running through my presentation. I'm just going to say one more thing about Austria, Green Tech from Austria. So Green Tech from Austria is based on companies that have usually a long history in the field they're working in. And as an alpine country, there are a couple of energy or green tech sectors that Austria is traditionally famous for and very successful in. And there's renewable energies. A lot of our energy comes actually from renewable sources, mostly from hydropower. We have a lot of companies that are hidden champions when it comes to environmental technology, but also energy efficiency and green building. So we do have something to share with the rest of the world when it comes to green tech. Also, green tech in Austria, an important industry sector with revenues that you can see here that are coming up to 14.5 billion euros. At the same time, we're employing almost 50,000 people in the green tech sector. And here, that is a slide that is just giving you an idea of green tech is not just renewable energy, but green tech tackles all these areas from waste management to municipality to smart cities to building sustainability in a sustainable way, etc. So green tech really is a huge ecosystem that that is going to be more and more relevant also in Asia Pacific, not just in Austria. If you want to know more, you can just later on drop me a line and say, I want to hear more about green tech from Austria. We do have everything online that is available, a publication you can just browse through. You're getting infos on companies, what they are doing. So this is one of the things that we can offer you if you have more interest in green tech from Austria. You have the website below. Otherwise, you just reach out to me and in the chat or via email. I'll be happy to share all the information with you as well. But that's it from my side at that point. So I can go back to that because now it's gonna be I'm not gonna be talking anymore, but I'm gonna be presenting, and I'm gonna be presenting our first speaker. And I'm very excited to have him with us. Also because he was the one to actually, called me up and say, this is a topic, this presentation or this event that you are doing is a topic that we are interested in. I want to be part of it. And I said, of course, here you go. Don't have to ask me twice. And so now to not keep the suspense any longer, I'll briefly introduce to you Carsten Sommermuth. He's not Austrian, he's German, but we like him nevertheless. And he's working for an Austrian company, so he's like fabulous. And he's certainly, he certainly has a couple of Austrian stories to tell later on, in case you ask him. But so excited and happy to have you here, Carsten. Carsten is currently the Vice President and Managing Director for the APAC region for Inyo Jenbacher, and he will tell you who and what Inyo Jenbacher is during his presentation. And he is actually based in Singapore. Also right now, he had to get up very early and look smart and dashing back home in Germany. So, but he is actually based in Singapore. Carsten is, as far as I remember, a mechanical engineer by training, but he also got an MBA. And as I saw that at the Boston University. Did that happen? I think the mechanical engineering was in Augsburg. I think I remember correctly. Aachen. Oh, sorry, I did not remember correctly. See, I was trailing him on LinkedIn, but that I could not remember. But anyway, it's more important than where he got his degree is what he's actually going to tell us about. And this is all about hydrogen and how hydrogen is going to be or not going to be, or the energy source of the future. And Carsten will be talking. I will be helping him out by doing his presentation. So I'm actually screen sharing again my screen. So if you just give me a second, I'll be going back to. So I was supposed to go back. Yes, here I am. To Mir. I hope. Just give me a nod, Carsten, if you get to see your presentation.
Yes, Susanna.
Yeah,
well, Christina, I see it already, so we can jump immediately to slide number 2. And yes, also a very warm good afternoon, distinguished participants, and also many thanks, Christina and Florian, for the matchmaking. You said it already rightly. I saw the advertising of this event and I said, okay, wow, we have to talk about it. Sharm el-Sheikh, all the discussions about the reduction of CO2 is going on at the moment. And I said, we have to be part of it. So many thanks indeed, Christina, and also Florian for matchmaking, and Susanna and Jenny for hosting us also and give us the chance to talk here a little bit about maybe the future fuel who has the power to decarbonize not only the energy sector, but also the industrial side. So it's really a pleasure to be here. And then maybe, Christina, we can go to the next slide, where I can give a short update. Maybe, yes, the next one. Yes, a short introduction about how we are from Tyrol, from Jenbach, are changing the energy landscape, not only in Europe, but also now in Asia Pacific, especially with the hydrogen topic. So to give you only a brief introduction, so Inyo Jenbacher is a company, it was up to 2018 with General Electric. Most of you, I guess, know General Electric from the past. We are building in Jenbach gas engines, high efficient gas engines for decentralized power solutions since 1957. And we are producing around 1,000 engines per year in our factory in Jenbach. And we have already around about 24,000 gas engines delivered to the entire world. And I will later also explain you how many of these engines, for example, are running in Asia Pacific, on biogas, and on other fuels. So we are running the business from Tyrol in Jenbach with around about 1,700 employees. And as Christina already mentioned, I'm based in Singapore and hosting the entire APAC region. And this is for me, also one of the most powerful regions where you have double digits in GDP and you have huge opportunities to decarbonize and maybe make not the mistakes we did in Europe over the last decades by having so much coal-fired plants, large fired power plants. So the renewable potential for Asia Pacific is massively. And I think hydrogen really can rewrite the story also how we generate power in Asia Pacific in the next years. Maybe the next slide, Christina. To give you only an example how many megawatts we already installed worldwide, you see on the left side 33 gigawatts of delivered engines or delivered megawatts of Jenbacher engines already running worldwide. This means round about 57 million households are supplied with energy from Inyo Jenbacher already. So round about 1.5 times the amount of the German energy sector is covered with our engines, in total 24,000 engines. And only to give you the number of the Philippines have at the moment installed 27 gigawatt of power in the entire country. And we are running our engines in a wide load range from 0.2 megawatt up to 10 megawatt. And this makes us very proud. We are not solely rely on one fuel. We are very well known in the business for running on natural gas, on biogas, on special gases. And this really creates a lot of opportunities for us where we shaped, for example, here the energy transition in Germany with huge installation in the biogas market over the last decades. Please, the next slide, Christina. So when it comes to APAC, to give you in a nutshell a couple of numbers about Inyo Jenbacher, we have round about 3,000 megawatt installed all over Asia Pacific, and already 25% of them, so more than 500 engines from Inyo Jenbacher already running on biogas. So 100% CO2, and this is really a huge basis where we already have a CO2-free power generation installed in the entire Asia Pacific region. But for the next years, we are expecting much more to come on the biogas sector and also on the hydrogen sector. And the main reason is what we have seen in the last, I would say, 12 months is that the natural gas price was so high that more and more policymakers now in the countries like the Philippines, like Vietnam, like in Indonesia, Thailand, are promoting biogas as an opportunity to be not relying on the natural gas prices. So the push to CO2-free power generation will also come from this dramatically increased gas price over the last months. So please, the next slide, Christina. So when it comes to the challenges we see in APAC, and this is in general, the Economist stated a couple of years ago, and there's nothing changed about it, coal is still king in Asia Pacific. So we are talking about 60% of the power generation mix in Asia Pacific is out of coal and the highest contribution of CO2. So this means there is a huge chance to decarbonize the power sector in Asia Pacific by replacing coal with natural gas, but also in the future for sure with hydrogen. And the second one is that we see in Asia Pacific a lot of fluctuating renewables now coming into the grid, mainly from photovoltaics, but also from wind. And here we need a dispatchable source, which is able to start and stop when the wind is not blowing and the sun is not shining. So this is the second huge challenge we see in Asia Pacific, and natural gas, biogas, but also hydrogen engines have the capabilities to be dispatchable whenever you need the power to support the increase of the fluctuating renewables. And the third point is the infrastructure. So we are talking about a lot about pipeline systems. And what you see now in Europe, the dependency on Russian gas and an infrastructure, this is what Asia Pacific has not. They have the opportunities, especially with the LNG import facilities, or maybe later on the infrastructure for hydrogen, to be not relying on a pipeline system, what we see at the moment for Russia. So there are huge opportunities also in Asia Pacific now to decarbonize the sector by making not the mistakes we maybe did in Europe over the last decades. But, and this was for me one of the very interesting points now from Sharm el-Sheikh, from the summit, this energy transition is indeed a marathon and not a sprint. So every one of the policymakers has to start now to decarbonize the system. Otherwise, and I think this is more than clear, we will not pass the 1.5 degrees Celsius. It looks like now when we go ahead in the business as usual scenario that we even have problems to stay with a 2.5 degrees Celsius, which would have a huge impact also here in Asia Pacific for a lot of people on their living conditions. Please, the next slide, Christina. So ready for hydrogen. So everyone at the moment is talking for hydrogen. And I can tell you that we at INNO Jenbacher, the top leader when it comes to hydrogen solution, especially engine-based hydrogen solutions. Our engines are already hydrogen ready when it comes to 25% volumetric percent of admitting into our engines. So I think there is also the responsibility from the industry and also from the Austrian industry as one of the world market leaders when it comes to high efficient gas engines to offer the stakeholders, to offer the markets already H2 ready engines for the decarbonization. And I would like to explain you a little bit more about our achievements and how we gained now to be the first engine manufacturer in the world who is already 100% ready to run on hydrogen. So this is something I want to explain to you, and let us go into the next slides to get a little bit an overview about it. The thing is very old, and maybe if you or your kids are reading some books, you maybe pass through Jules Verne, who wrote a very interesting book a couple of years ago, 150 years ago, about the mysterious island. And Jules Verne already said that there is a vision one day to create out of water and fuel or an opportunity to produce electricity and heat. And now hydrogen is definitely there, and we are able now to separate the H2O molecules and separate the H2 for using into power generation, heat and power. And this is something which is more than 140 years old, and this idea came now into practice. Next slide, please, Christina. So when we see how the hydrogen at the moment is used in, for example, our engines, we see that policymakers are starting now to implementing the infrastructure for the use of hydrogen. You can use in our Jenbacher engines, which are always green color-wise, the hydrogen together with natural gas, or you can have them in a long-term perspective, 100% in a hydrogen pipeline by using in our engines. This is a huge opportunity we are already offering now to our clients, to our markets, to be 100% hydrogen ready today. Next slide, please. So why we are, why we are the number one as an Austrian company with 100% hydrogen is a little bit like based on our history. The R&D topic, Christina mentioned this in the beginning in her introductory speech. We were already a first mover when it comes to very high hydrogen content in our gas engines. So we started in Krems in Austria already a couple of years ago, 1996, with 70% of H2 volumetric percentage in our engines. So more than 200,000 operating hours already accumulated on this hydrogen content. Then we stepped further into 40% H2 content in 2003 in Japan, in the Mutsu plant, which already also has a huge content of hydrogen now in the operation. And then the pipeline gas, we have a full hybrid system in Argentina running with more than 40% of H2. So this was already for us the cornerstones to develop the pure hydrogen engine, which was then 2020, 2021, developed for a municipality together with a municipality in Hamburg, in Germany, and started there the first fire. So we were very proud to be the #1 as a Tyrolean company to reach the 100% H2 content in one of our gas engines. And I think this is a very important dividend also for the environment. Next slide, please, Christina. So this is a little bit like the overview we have, and we are sharing the slides afterward with you. You see our references on the hydrogen content, 30% of H2 in Italy, in Bozen, 30% in Austria. Then we have 42% in Argentina. And also now we have a new flagship in Korea, which I will be explained a little bit later. Also 100% will start up very soon in Korea, with Hyosung, one of the chemical partners there, to decarbonize also the industry in Asia Pacific. Next slide, please. So when it comes to our scope, to our engine sizes, as I already mentioned, Jenbacher is supplying a lot of engine sizes, and we already 100% as of today for special projects ready to deliver the 1 megawatt sizes with 100% hydrogen. And for the larger sizes, 2024, 2025, we will be ready to deliver as well 100% hydrogen on all our other types. So we are in the middle of scaling up now the 100% experience from our Type 4 engines into all other engine sizes, so that we can deliver as well within the next years for our large power plants, like in Germany, but also in Asia Pacific, the 100% setup very, very, very soon. Next slide, please. So, and here you see a little bit like the development we have. The factor is always the content of H2 in our engines. You see on the A level, which is indicated on the top, you see below 5% of volumetric percent H2 up to 25%. This is the traditional gas H2 fuel mix booster system, which can be used here up to a content of around about 60%. And then we do some upgrades on our engine when it comes to the injection system, when we are talking here about the use of 100% hydrogen. You see already everything is available, and be very honest with you, at the moment, it's really the question of the availability and the price of hydrogen. So don't get me wrong here. At the moment, we are waiting for a huge capacity of electrolyzers, which are coming online in the next years. We are expecting huge H2 volume coming from countries like Australia, where the green hydrogen will be produced, for example, out of PV or out of wind. And it will be a market, maybe countries like Singapore, like Korea, like Japan, which already have H2 strategies in place, will be the first user of these 100% green hydrogen as a replacement for natural gas or for coal. Next slide, please. Here you see our own facility in Jenbach. So we are also testing in Jenbach when it comes to H2 use in the supply chain, also for the security systems, for the auxiliary systems, but mainly for sure on the combustion process, on the thermodynamics of the engine, of the performance of the engine. And we have built our own test facility for using the hydrogen. It's delivered here in bottles to our facility in Jenbach. And then we can supply one of our test beds by using H2, for example, running the factory acceptance test for our first client, or doing a lot of R&D work straight at our facility in Austria. Next slide, please. And I hope this animation works. To give you only a short introduction, maybe Christina, you click exactly. Yes, oh, I'm very happy that you can see it. This is what you normally know maybe from your car. You put air and natural gas in your combustion chamber. The pistons go down, go up. You have the valves, they are open. And then the exhaust CO2, NOx, and H2O comes out, which is the old process. Now we're looking to the right. This is the hydrogen process, air, hydrogen, while the port injection is going into the combustion chamber. You have the same cycle you have with the natural gas cycle, and what comes out is NOx and H2, and no more any kind of CO2. This is the big advantage we have. We have also lower NOx levels, and this is what it makes so attractive to say, when we are converting from natural gas to H2, the CO2 is gone. This is really the huge lever we all have for reducing the carbon footprint in the environment. The next slide, please. Again, yes. So this means one of the example engines we have now available for sale is a Type 4 engine. I took here the 50 hertz. I know the Philippines have 60 hertz, but to give you only an overview about the H2 consumption of one of these engines with around about 1 megawatt output, it's 77 kilograms per hour of H2. To give you only a number, currently the price for green hydrogen is in the range of between 5 and 8 or up to 10. It's a little bit depending. We are expecting ranges when countries like Australia will come up with electrolysis capacities down to 2 or 3 US dollar per kilogram, which would help really to be competitive, especially when you compare it to the current natural gas prices. So we hope that a lot of electrolysis capacity is coming online very soon, and that the price is going down. And the natural gas price for sure is something which is heavily under discussion at the moment. So for every business case, also like in the Philippines, but we are expecting that the green hydrogen is competitive within the next 4 to 5 years. Next slide, please. Yeah, this is our, I would say, our success for Asia Pacific. We signed last November, the 19th of November, we signed the first contract for a 100% hydrogen engine, which will operate from the beginning of next year in Korea with 100% hydrogen by Hyosung. It's a chemical plant in Ulsan, and they are using hydrogen out of a chemical product process. And we are very, very proud that we are the first company from Tyrol, from Austria, and from all the others OEMs. We are the first company running 100% hydrogen in Asia Pacific with the beginning of next year. The COD of the plant will be May, April. So yeah, this is a huge achievement for all of us, coming from Jenbach, coming from Tyrol, serving the world with these sustainable solutions. And we are the first company who will run 100% hydrogen in Korea with the beginning of next year. Next slide, please, Christina. You do it, by the way, super. So we have also developed an own INUR 330-degree energy lab in Jenbach, where we are also exploring the opportunity of hydrogen, but also on microgrids. So if you drop one or the other by us in Jenbach, you are invited. Drop me a short line if you want to have a look into our energy lab. There we have also some new R&D ideas we are sharing with the public. And here we see clearly our responsibility as one of the world market leaders to develop sustainable solutions also for the upcoming challenges in our market. So when you are close by Innsbruck, close to Jenbach, drop us a note and you are really invited to join us for a short site visit here. Next slide, please, Christina. Yeah, and this is a little bit like the summary of our hydrogen story. First hydrogen project now for Asia Pacific completed, will start up next year. We have 100% completed for the first 100% hydrogen project in Germany under combined heat and power, already running since 2020. And we have the commitment for the largest engine-based power plant in Germany in the city of Kiel, where we have 20 of our 10 megawatt engines, so the largest 200 megawatt engine-based power plant in Germany, which will be converted as well. And as soon the green hydrogen from the wind power in the northern part of Germany is available, also to run on 100% hydrogen within the next years. I think this is my final slide. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished participants, for me, Sharm el-Sheikh is a clear sign. Energy transition is a marathon, not a sprint. We have to take action. Everyone, you as stakeholders, as developers, as IPPs, as interested person, we as industry, as someone who is able to supply you with the right technology now, we have to take action. So with these closing words, I would like to thank you also for the organization. And yeah, back to Christina. Many thanks for the opportunity to talk here about a little bit about hydrogen and the development in Asia Pacific.
Thank you. Thank you so very much, Carsten. A very timely topic, very interesting. I'm glad that I could, perform well in with the slides. You have to give me probably a crash course on the technology once again. Please do, because I try to follow as much as possible, but at a certain point, but I saw a lot of people kept coming in and staying. So although I didn't understand all of it, probably the audience did. So again, thank you so very much, Carsten. Really, as I said, highly important topic, and something that is really going to be with us in the future, and hopefully in a successful future. Thank you again, Carsten. Please stay on for the Q&A after the next presentation. Thank you so much. So our next speaker, another Austrian company, actually a startup, I think we can say. It's and I'm very happy to introduce you to Arnold Brentel. Arnold Brentel over the last couple of years has become a very dear friend of mine. Yes, he has. We share a lot of interests one of them is good food and photography. So, but when he is not into photography and traveling the world, he is currently the Vice President for Projects and Services of CellCube. He will tell you a bit more about CellCube. A real startup success story from Austria, very successful already in the States, I've heard. So congratulations on that one. And now with Carsten, we have heard about how to create energy, how to make energy, how to use energy. With Arnold, we're going to talk about how to storage energy and how to make it efficiently, how to storage energy efficiently, and thus be able to have a green transition in the future. Apart from many other things, Arnold is also an accomplished academic, and he created his own business model. So maybe if time allows at the end, we might be able to get a glimpse of the business model that he created, which is really important also for Asia Pacific. And as I said, he has the academic side of his work as well, which is important. I will be sharing again my screen. So please stay with me while I'm getting back on to have Arnold's presentation coming up. So stay with me for a second. Arnold, you have to tell me whether you can actually see. Can you see it now?
Yes, yeah, okay. We can see it. Yeah.
I think it's yep. I remember the shortcut. Great. I remember the shortcut. Great. Control L.
Oh, great, Christina. Great. So thank you for the introduction. Thank you, Carsten, for your presentation from Jembach. Really excited to see that Kiel will be transformed from methane gas to hydrogen. Good afternoon to everybody, all of you participating from Asia, and good morning to you from participating from Europe. I'm happy to give you a brief overview about long duration energy storage with our vanadium redox flow batteries. Christina, could you jump to the next slide? And to give you a brief, yes, thank you. To give you a brief setup of our history. CellCube is a spin-off of state-owned Cyberstorf laboratories in 2000 and documented already its first patents on vanadium redox flow batteries in 2000, leading then to first field tests in 2004 with our technology. And later on, 2010, there was the first launch of a market or a serial product we deployed to the market. Which was a FP 1030, meaning capacity of 30 kilowatt hours, at the duration size of 3 hours, meaning for charging and discharging of 10 kilowatts. In the same year, we launched also a cell cube with 200 kilowatts and 400 or 800 kilowatt hours capacity. During the years, there was then some business going on until 2016. In 2016, we already implemented more than 100 projects, and this with a global footprint, bringing us very much knowledge about different climate zones, different applications, and different learnings to increase the reliability and the availability of the system. In 2020, we started the launch of the generation 4, where we are now able to enter the megawatt class of energy storage, of electrical energy storage. And I'm quite happy I was quite happy today morning when I realized that one of our partners in South Africa became the award from the South African National Energy Association, where we are implementing next year a plant with 2 megawatt and 8 megawatt hours storage. As well as we are going next year to implement a system or commission a system in the Philippines. So we are really quite on a global footprint, even in Asia, in Africa, in Australia, as well as in the US. Could you jump to the next slide, please, Christina? Thank you very much. To give you a rough overview about the technology. At first, it is an electrochemical energy storage system, meaning that we are not making use of kinetic energy. We are really store electrical energy within an electrolyte, which is a fluid, vanadium-based fluid, water-based, meaning that the vanadium is dissolved in a water solution. Where the electrons are transferred via a membrane from one to the other fluid system or the tank system when the electrolyte is being pumped through the stacks. And this is the core technology we developed. This is the stack itself, which is now developed to high reliability and high availability of the system. The system is scalable, we can see then later on, and the energy is also available within millisecond range, meaning that it can be used also for black start and island mode supplies. Could you jump to the next slide, please, Christina? Thank you very much. Why we are confident that our vanadium redox flow battery system is becoming part of the future. On the one hand, we are not using rare earth metals like lithium or something like that. Our technology is based on widely available vanadium, which is already used in the steel industry. The electrolyte is reusable. We have to figure out that we can pump out the electrolyte from one battery and fill it in the next battery without degradation, or nearly without degradation, as well as we are able to recycle the electrolyte to get out the vanadium later on after its usable age. On the other hand, our system is environmentally safe. We do have double-walled tank, meaning there is no spillover. At the end of the lifetime, we have 85.5% of reusable parts, and the rest is recyclable for sure. Could you jump for the next slide, please? Thank you very much. What is CellCube providing, or what is giving CellCube advantage, or where do we see our market position? The transition of the grids is going on and becoming more complex. In the past, we had big power plants, and the power has been transferred via grid connections on national basis and then on local area basis to the customers. Nowadays, we have a lot of different smaller and complex and not continuously producing power plants. Additionally, like renewables, like power, like photovoltaic, like wind, like other sources. And we have to learn when we go for decarbonization, and if we make use of this potential of photovoltaics and wind energy, we have to understand that we have to store that energy for times where there is no sunlight and if there is no wind, making available during the whole day. And this is what we are going to do. In the past, for example, one application for our cell cubes was for example on an island which was supplied by the power was supplied by diesel generator sets, where they were reduced the operating times while we implemented our cell cubes, because for the times they were running, energy not used within the system has been stored to the batteries. For later times, being able to switch off the generator sets on the one hand. On the other hand, the cell cubes can be used for charging station to have high loads or high charging possibilities, high current for charging in electric mobility. And there are another options for mobility use for electrical maritime, for example, because this becomes also an issue to electrify, for example, in the maritime public transportation systems, like it is in London, for example, or in different states where you use ferries coming from one point to the other one. Where you can use the technology even for maritime purposes. Could we jump to the next slide, please? Yeah, thank you very much. Where is the long duration energy storage, and why there is a difference between short duration and long duration? On the one hand, you have to make energy available for controlling and for regulate the frequency and the voltages in networks, meaning you have fast responding need for energy storage. On the other hand, you have, as I said already, the issue for making renewables available for the whole day. And these are more or less two really different applications where you do have to use different technologies. And I would like to ask you to jump to the next slide, Christina, please. This we can jump over, please. This is just for explaining the peak shifting. Here you can see now the different sizes of storages and the different sizes of durations. On the one hand, you have short duration for uninterrupted power supply, bridging just times for 10, 20, 50 minutes or something like that for an outage of the grid. And this is usually in the low power sector, low energy sector. Then you have these lithium ions, where you are able to store for 1-2 hours, which is quite good for the technology. Then you have the fuel cells, which is that time not that large power size, but also usable for longer durations. And then you have the long duration energy storage scope, which means you have on the one hand this historic or this commonly used pumped hydro power plants, for example, which is also an energy storage system when you pump up the water and to generate power later on when it comes down and when the energy is needed. And then there is the flow battery technology, which is close scalable to the scale of small pumped hydro power plants, as well as for 4, 6, 8 hours duration. And what I would like to point out is that we are in the efficiency range comparable also for pump hydro. We are in the efficiency range also comparable to other technologies, which is very much important from our side to point out, because it's a complex system, and everybody says, yeah, you have to use the energy for pumping the electrolyte through the system. Yes, that's true, but this is quite less and really low range for reaching efficiencies like other technologies. Christina, could you jump to the next slide, please? Yeah, specific use. For specific use of our system is, for example, if you have an industrial site where you have, for example, not that quality in the grid supply, where you have different outages during the time, you can buffer the energy during the day and then to supply to the factory. We are working currently on a project in the US where we install a 2 megawatt storage system with 8 megawatt hours. For example, where the owner of the industrial site had really erected a huge photovoltaic plant, and also other power sources. And the energy is stored to our cell cubes, and he can run his industrial site independently from the grid for 2 or 3 days, allowing him, if there is a long time power outage, he is able to run the site, as well as he is nearly autonomous for power supply of his site. And the other application, as I said, the cell cubes are really being usable for storing and for making energy available for electric mobility, for these charging stations, because we have to figure out if we electrify, for example, bus fleets, as we do have the jeepneys in the Philippines or anywhere else. We have to figure out that there will be also a high demand of high current possibilities for charging these fleets in the times where they are not in operation. And these operation times are moving and becoming the times of pausing the fleet and having the fleets out of operation are reducing, meaning that these times have been used to make more energy available for charging these fleets, and our cell cubes is a quite good option to provide this energy locally for making them available. Could you jump to the next slide, please, Christina? Thank you very much. And the other application, which is also maybe a high demand in the Asian Pacific area for islands, is if you have an island with an independent power supply system, you can make use from our cell cubes for storing the energy out of your power sources to reduce times when you run the diesel generator sets as backup, as UPS, last option if there is no sun, if there is no wind or other outages, to reduce really the carbonization footprint out of your energy supply system on these islands. Could we jump to the next slide, please? Thank you. The system is designed, it's quite a scalable and simplified system. You have on the top of our cell cubes the power units where the stacks are in, and the bottom you have the electrolyte tanks where the electrolyte is going to be stored and sourced and stored. And the system size is, one power unit has the size of 250 kilowatt. And we are able to provide 4 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours system, meaning that we can store within this 250 kilowatt systems, for example, 1,000 kilowatt hours, meaning 1 megawatt, 1.5 or 2 megawatt. And the operating temperature range of the system is from -20 to 35 degrees. And we are very proud to have this operation temperature range because this comes out from our past global footprint of our past generations and of our learning curve and development of our technology. Could we jump
at this point? I was wondering, we have about 5 minutes left for our session, and Jen said that she's following, Jennifer is following our live recording or live broadcast on Facebook as well, and she said there are many questions there. So I was wondering if we could use the last 5 minutes for questions for the two of you, since also Jennifer has been following on Facebook. We will be happy to, I will share your presentations, obviously, if it's okay with you. And here Jenny is here for the Q&A. I know it was supposed to be Florian. He was there looking and looking, smashing all the time. I'm sorry, Florian, we'll have Jennifer just do a quick question round of 4 minutes, and we will get your presentation to the audience nevertheless. Thank you so much. And Jennifer, it's the presenters are yours. They are all in your hands.
Thank you. Thank you. I also sent the question to Florian. So if Florian has it, Florian, you can ask the question and maybe guide the discussion. Florian?
Yeah, I just see the one question from Facebook. Is it the one you?
Yes, yes, that's
okay, great.
Thank you.
So yeah, if you want, I can take over. So thanks for this very interesting presentations. The question from Facebook is, where do you presenters see the most opportunities for collaborations with ASEAN partners? What type of partners are they looking for? Is there room for collaboration with universities or research centers? So please feel free to answer the questions.
Florian, is it addressed to Arnold or to myself?
Both of you.
Ah,
okay.
So
okay.
I don't know whoever wants to start. Maybe Carsten, if you want.
Yeah,
please.
I can do. Yes, I can really clearly say yes. I think this is always needed, especially to have the knowledge transfer from international companies into the educational system. So we are always looking for partnering up with institutions, with universities, because I think this is the education hall for future engineers, and as early as possible they're getting in touch with technologies like biogas engines, or with hydrogen, or with batteries. I think it's even better for all of us to do that. They have the understanding of it. For myself, I'm graduated as a mechanical engineer, and out of my education, there were only existing gas turbines, combined cycle plants, and coal-fired power plants. So the renewables were so small in that time, and we never had any touch point in university times with the renewables. So it was always like fancy, crazy stuff. But I think it's so important today, because every media is easy to reach, and you have so much sources for information, that the young people also get from the technology side as early as possible a full update on what is available and what they can choose later on when they are professionals in the business. So I think yes, clearly yes.
And from our side, yes, we are open. We did have in the past also some research projects in collaboration with university, with energy power suppliers, and from the energy market. So we are also open, and we are also open if there is really a high market demand and high potential to make some other collaborations too. So we are quietly open, and we will have a global footprint. It's just now a story of growth from our side.
Okay, so Jenny told me we have to close the session. There are still some other questions, but maybe it's possible to send them to you, answer them afterwards, and maybe we can share them to the audience later on through Facebook and social media, so we'll get the answers later on.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Okay.
For sure.
So quite Christina, you want to have the last word?
You were doing it so perfectly, Florian. I did not, I already cut you so short. So
it's fine. It's fine. I mean,
Florian,
all the presentations were so interesting, and it was great to listen to all of you. So thank you for taking part at this presentation. I think we had more than 100 participants today. So it's quite impressive to have all of you on a Friday afternoon listening to us. Thank you for that. And I think we can close this. We can just say that green tech and especially sustainability is a topic we all have to focus for the future, and we have to tackle. I think Christina said it's a cross-cutting issue, sustainability, so we have to tackle it together, and all the industries have to take part. Otherwise, we'll not fulfill the SDGs. Yeah, let's stick together and hope the best.
Super.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Florian. Thank you, Carsten, Arnold, Christina. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Everyone, we still have one more session. If you are ready to join us, just move on over. We're hearing from Spain and the issue of digitalization and global health. And there has been a question, Christina and Florian, about Advantage Austria and the supporting role that you can play in linking people. So we will, of course, make sure that the audience has your contact details. And of course, they are more than happy to link you up with potential collaborators in Austria. So once again, also from Jenny and myself, thank you so much. And we see you all very soon. Goodbye.
Thanks.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Bye.